Mario Kart DS is the fifth installment to the Mario Kart franchise, released in the fourth quarter of 2005, with South Korea seeing a release in April 2007. In 2015, the game was re-released for Wii U Virtual Console in North America, Europe, and Australia. Japan would see a re-release 1 year later, in May 2016. Mario Kart DS returns to one character per kart gameplay, with a condensed starting roster consisting of the 8 playable characters from Mario Kart 64. New items debut in DS, including the blooper that temporarily inks opposing players' screen, and the bullet bill that will aid down for the count racers catch up with the frontrunners. Another addition added to Mario Kart DS is the inclusion of a widespread selection of retro tracks that range from as far back as Super Mario Kart up to the most recent game in the series. For the first time in the franchise, Battle Mode is now available for play in single-player mode, thanks to the inclusion of computer players coded specifically to traverse Battle Mode arenas. An all-new mission mode pits players against behind-the-wheel challenges that involves racing to the goal under a time limit, driving through rings, item boxes and coins, and going head-to-head with some of Super Mario 64's biggest baddies. Customizable emblems can be put onto your kart, which you can draw pixel by pixel to your heart's content, which you can race with in single player, against your shoulder-to-shoulder friends in wireless multiplayer, and even with players from across the globe through Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. As a result of a mandated inclusion of Blast from the Past tracks from across all previous installments, online multiplayer, and a handful of other gameplay advancements, a new era of Mario Kart was born. Hello everybody, this is Nintendo 14. Welcome everybody to the August section for the year of Mario Kart. In this month, we'll be playing Mario Kart DS. If there was ever a game that I had to pick in terms of how much I played, and this game is it, because from the very beginning on when I got this game in Christmas of 2006, alongside my first DS, which is the Nintendo DS Lite, this was the game that I found myself playing the most throughout the entire DS era. More so than, say, Mario Hoops 3-on-3, what other games? Even all the Pokemon games. This is the game that, if you had a DS, chances are you've played it. Whether it be you had your own copy, or you played it through a buddy with the very convenient multiplayer. We'll get into more on what the multiplayer has to offer. Actually, we can't, because I'm playing this on the Wii U Virtual Console, so that means that I can't have access to any of the multiplayer, because the Wii U Virtual Console, the way it works is that there's no connectivity between the multiplayer. Maybe they could re-release it on a different console and maybe have that, but for right now, all we have really available to us in this release of Mario Kart DS is just mainly the single player. So another new thing about it is about Mario Kart DS is the custom emblem. I'm not going to be making custom emblems here. I'm going to be rolling with the default because I didn't plan that far ahead to make custom emblems. Not so much as Todd. He made custom emblems for just about each part. So we're not going to do that. We're going to say no. So this time we should be able to get into the single player menu and select our good old Grand Prix and play in the 150cc. Here we are, we have our starting 8 roster, the same from Mario Kart Super Circuit and 64. I think, who am I going to start out with? I think, I guess it's some sort of tradition of mine. I gotta pick a heavyweight for the first part, so you know what, I might as well run with Donkey Kong. And this is a new thing, kind of a new thing for DS, is that each character has not one but 2 different carts you can choose from. DK here has the Rambi Rider, and he's also got a standard pipe frame looking cart with him. Just like with all the other characters, they all have their own version of the standard classic cart. For DK's case, he's got the yellow because that's the color he wants to roll with. So I think roll with the Rambi Rider because it is a new cart. That end, let's go back and see the stats here. It's got a lot of great speed, weight, and drift. Drift is a new thing. When you drift, you get a little bit more handling, or depending on how big the meter is for that, that determines how much handling you have while drifting. Right now that's a lot. to me, Donkey Kong for this kind of game is not the stats won't be as effective. I mean, for Mario Kart DS, you want to roll with acceleration and a lot of handling from just steering, not from the drifting. But you know what? We'll make it work. We're gonna take all that to the Mushroom Cup. That's where we're gonna be starting things out here. Those other 4 cups we'll get into momentarily. That and other videos. And so another new thing I'd like to throw out there right now is we got a second screen there on the bottom. Once we get this race started and get our position to where we want it, I'll go over a little bit into the bottom screen. Red shell here. Didn't really get a really good start at the beginning of this race, so we do have some catching up to do. Bowser just mowing down everybody right in front of us. Alright. We're in 3rd for right now. That's a pretty good spot for me to go over the bottom screen. Now at the bottom screen, it's a new thing, obviously, because we have the DS. So we have access to the position of all 8 racers on the track, and we also we have access to what kind of items they have for at the moment in the reserve. They won't show you what item they're dragging, unfortunately, but you do get somewhat of an idea on what kind of item each racer out here has, so you can prepare yourself for stuff like that, for dodging Peach's Bob-omb. So that could play pretty good. And also, if you press Y or if you touch the bottom screen, you can switch over to the bottom part you can switch to a full map of the entire track. Really useful for, say, if you're front running and you want to see where second place is, in case if you want to play some strategy there, like say if you want to dodge a blue shell, like one right there. So now that all that's over, I want to get back to this screen because this is the more important screen out of the 2 that you want to have. That way you can see where what items are being flung at you, and you know where you got to be, or what line you got to be in order to can't even talk. What line do you need to be in order to avoid the mayhem? So let's try and hustle here to a 2nd place. That's exactly the spot we need to be in. At least to stay in contention for the illustrious Gold Cup, which will allow you to, if you get those, you can progress into the Grand Prix mode and you can unlock yourself some nice things. But you can only do that if you place 1st in all of the cups. Alright, so with all that taken care of, I think I can continue with this cup here. And now let's focus on race wins now. I mean, it won't be easy with the kind of kart that I chose myself, because the speed isn't going to be that real crucial to you for Mario Kart DS. Because in order to get more mini turbo boosts, you have to have more acceleration. If you don't have a lot of acceleration, then you won't get as much. And I think the only real role that the speed can really factor in is, say, like if you're on a long straightaway. That's the only thing I can really see that, you know, speed can be really useful for Mario Kart DS. But because of the mechanics and the way that gameplay runs in Mario Kart DS, don't worry too much about having too much speed. Alright, so this is a really short track. It's Yoshi Falls. Expect to see a lot of blue shells here and there, so it would be pretty wise if you stay relatively close to 2nd place. If you need to drop out, if you see a blue shell coming. And also with the red shells, they do have a new thing with the red shells where they're a little bit smarter than they were in previous games. As in, they can home in on you at an angle, so that way they can hit you from the side. And in most cases, on really awkward situations, they can even hop over you and then re-seek back into you. So in other words, red shells are pretty smart in this game, but in a mean way. So you do have to make some extra effort in order to make sure that if you have any items that you can defend yourself, make sure that you steer them into the direction where you can block from red shells. So do keep that in mind. We're at Cheep Cheep Beach, the first of these retro tracks, or we'll get into that a little bit, but mainly this is the track you'll see in Mario Kart 8. then you cannot. The water will slow you down a lot, so don't. For this version of Cheap Cheap Beach, do stay out of the water. You want to keep your cart clean. Do here. And also, I'll get into a little bit of the drift handling. What I like to do, since DK doesn't have a lot of steering, rather all of the steering goes into the drifting. If you're doing a drift, you can straighten yourself out with the drifting handling, if you do need to do that. Alright. And then kind of use the handling to straighten yourself out on straightaways. As for, let's say there are some carts that don't have a whole lot of drifting. There are, in those cases, then, of course, rely on your handling, but DK his cart is pretty unique in the fact that, in the kind of handling that he has. That's in, we can't really rely too much on the mini turbo boost because they barely give us any mini turbo boost. So with DK's cart, it is pretty essential that you keep the cart straight and not strafe too much. Kind of just make full use of its straightaway capability, and kind of just keep it straight like a log. That's where DK's strengths lie in. But other than that, yeah, there's some really exploitable techniques that are really gonna outshine playstyles like what I've set myself up with. So that's our second win in the Mushroom Cup. We're going to be going into the fourth and final track in in the Mushroom Cup for this game, which is Luigi's Mansion. Quite a tricky track for the Mushroom Cup, might I say, especially the last few turns in for this track. There's the man up in front trying to bring home a hometown win, if you want to call it that. I never considered Luigi to be to call his mansion home, but you know what? It's home to his main star in his own game. And also, one thing I wanted to bring up, but I just never got around to it. If I were to recommend, what system you would play Mario Kart DS, I wouldn't recommend playing on the Wii U because it is really difficult to see the bottom screen, especially in the loadout or in the screen configuration that I have right now. Because the thing with the DS emulation on Wii U, or rather how it works, or how the Wii U works in playing the DS games, is that the emulator gives you some presets on how you want to structure out your screens, and none of them aren't that really good. I just have to compensate on what's out of all the ones, which one's the best. So I have to roll with the one with the bigger screen and then the smaller bottom screen. Because of that, it's not easy to see all of the bottom screen. And the bottom screen is your best friend for any of, if you have it, that is. Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 they have the bottom screen like that. So if you can, try to look down on the bottom screen to see what item that the other racers have, so that way you can prepare yourself and defend if you need to. Sure, these lightning are really taking their toll on me because like with Mario Kart 8, you be real careful about having items out because they will unfortunately they could you could knock yourself right into the lightning. And there could be some AIs that can drop bombs behind you like that, which is not nice. Looks like I'm gonna... If I can get these last two positions, that'd be nice. Nope. Come on straight away. Nope. I'm gonna be a fifth. That's not good. Because in the points, I'm gonna fall out of the top spots. Dadgummit. What can you do? That track wasn't well suited for the Rambi Rider because of its poor acceleration and handling. But I guess that's how it goes. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Hey, we'll take it. It's not often that I don't get the Gold Cup, so I'll go ahead and take care of that later. that's the first of many parts that I'm planning on having this month. The next video I'm having is the Shell Cup. I'll have my own character set up, and I'm also doing the mission mode. That is a side thing that you can also do. Really similar in progression to, or in having progression in the Grand Prix, in that there's specific missions that you can complete. You won't unlock anything from doing these, just more missions. But it is a fun side thing that I'm looking forward to having alongside the Grand Prix playthrough for Mario Kart DS. So a lot to look forward to here in the month of August for the year of Mario Kart. So that's going to do it for this video. Tune in next time this Thursday as we kick things off with the Shell Cup, which contains the first 4 Blast from the Past tracks from previous Mario Kart games that are forged into one cup for this game. So with that, I'll see you guys later.